Well, good morning. Welcome to United Way of PierceCounty and the City of Tacoma's virtual press conference. We have 3 speakers on the agenda today who will share updates on Tacoma's Guaranteed Income Initiative. You will hear from Mayor Victoria Woodards, Dona Ponepinto, and Suki Samra. We will open the chat for questions after the speakers conclude their remarks. We are recording this press conference. Mayor Woodards, the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much, Natasha, for that introduction and for moderating our session today. Let me say good morning to everybody. It's so exciting to be here this morning. We held a press conference back in the spring, early spring, to announce that Tacoma was going to be partnering with Mayors for a Guaranteed Income, entering into a pilot project in Tacoma called GRIT, Growing Resilience in Tacoma. And today we are here to kick off the application process. So this morning, the application went live and is now available online for residents of Tacoma to fill out to be a part of this demonstration. I'm very excited this morning that we're also joined by Suki Samra, who is part of the national movement of Mayors for a Guaranteed Income. And Suki, I will send over to you for some opening remarks.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor Woodards. Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. I'm on what is a very exciting day for Tacoma and for Mayor Woodards' team. Just some context, Mayors for a Guaranteed Income is, as Mayor Woodards said, a national network of mayors that believes that all Americans deserve an income floor through a guaranteed income. Our network has 3 goals. The first is to advocate for a federal guaranteed income in similar cash-based policies. The second is to invest in narrative change work so that we can really disrupt the ways that this country talks about and thinks about poverty. And the third is to invite other cities to join our efforts and to run pilots like the one that Tacoma will be taking on. Just a brief overview for those newer to the concept. A guaranteed income is direct recurring cash payments that are given, again, directly to individuals. It's unconditional, no strings attached, no work requirements, and it's meant to supplement and not replace the existing social safety net. We at Mayors for a Guaranteed Income believe in a guaranteed income because it's simple and effective, and it recognizes that each family has its own unique needs and that no one government policy will ever really understand how to meet people's most urgent needs. We also believe that a guaranteed income, especially when targeted to the most vulnerable, can be a tool to close the racial and gender inequities that COVID-19 only exposed, but that existed long before this pandemic. So we're so excited that Mayor Woodards was a founding mayor. She was one of the first 11 who helped found the organization a year ago. Since then, we've grown to 58 mayors across 24 cities. And as we look forward over the next couple of years, we're so excited to use the data and stories that come out of this pilot to build towards a federal policy.
Great, Suki, and thank you to you and your team for really being great supports during this time and helping us get our project up and running. At our press, and we're delighted to partner with MGI. So just to give a little context, some of you may have heard this before, but let me give a little context for how we got here. Last year around this time, probably a little bit earlier in June, I got a call from then Mayor Michael Tubbs, who was the mayor of Stockton, California, who ran a guaranteed income pilot project in his city. He called and said he was starting this National Mayors for a Guaranteed Income organization where I like to be a founding member. And I've been following the work that he'd been doing and listening to him update about how it was changing his community. And I definitely had an interest. So I said, we haven't really begun to talk about it in Tacoma, but we have been working with United Way, who really works with Alice, asset limited, income constrained and employed. And Dona's going to go into more detail about that. But we have been working with United Way in our community focused on Alice and eradicating poverty in Tacoma, Pierce County. So it seemed like a logical next step. So I decided to join, thinking that would begin a conversation in Tacoma around what that could look like and start to engage with partners. And shortly after joining, we got our first grant of $100,000 to kind of do, to be able to do that work, to be able to see if that's something that we could do here in Tacoma, to kind of feel it out, to see if Tacoma was ready for a pilot project. And then shortly after that, in fall of last year, we got notification that as a founding member of Mayors for a Guaranteed Income, that we were going to get a $500,000 grant to be able to disperse payments directly to Tacoma residents. So we quickly went to work with our partners, and I'm so delighted that Dona is here with us today, but reached out to United Way, who quickly said, yes, let's talk about this. And so here we are today, just a little over a year later from saying yes to being a part of the network to actually launching an application in Tacoma. While Dona's going to go into the specific details around who can apply and where we're focusing our efforts, I do just want to say what a great opportunity I believe this is for Tacoma. Not that Tacoma by itself can run a guaranteed income project, but we are part of a network, as Suki just alluded to. We are part of a network that is working around the country to show the benefit of what a guaranteed income program can look like on a national level. Now, here in Tacoma, we've decided to focus on 3 goals, and that's to cultivate resiliency, to change the narrative, and to build support. So we will measure our success by being able to do those 3 things. To cultivate resiliency, that means that we want to make sure that families are empowered to make financial decisions and address crises in their own terms. And then through storytelling and data, we want to build a case for supporting more equity in housing, childcare, physical well-being, and financial wellness, and uplift the truth that poverty is a systems failure, not a personal failure. So we want to change the narrative. And then we want to build support. So by leveraging our learnings and experiences, we want to be able to impact systems change that supports unconditional cash programs and other strength-based policies that enhance, improve, and increase equity in the social safety net. So those are our goals. That's how we'll be able to tell we're successful. But again, it's an exciting day in Tacoma to know that at this moment, we are launching the application process, and it is now open for residents of Tacoma to apply. And here to tell us just a little bit more about how you can apply and what the qualifications are to apply, I'd like to turn it over to Dona Ponepinto, who is the president and CEO of United Way of Tacoma, PierceCounty.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Mayor Woodards. United Way is so pleased to be a part of this effort. You know, we focus on lifting households out of poverty, and this initiative is something that we feel that we can provide some guidance to, and just pleased to be a part of it. So thank you. So I'm going to get into the details. So what is this all about, and what does it mean for Tacoma and its residents? It's $500 a month for no less than 12 months as a supplement. And that's the key word, a supplement to their income and other benefits. Our goal is to have 110 participants chosen at random. And some of the questions that have come up, is this some type of a lottery? And it is random, and can't stress that enough, from a pool of qualified candidates. And there will also be a control group that is selected. The qualified individuals must be Tacoma residents in zip codes 98404, and that is the Hilltop area. 98405, 98408, and 98409. So various areas of Tacoma. Single parent or guardian households with children living in the home up to age 17, and then children with disabilities up to age 21. And then the mayor mentioned ALICE, that asset limited income constrained employed. And these ALICE households are between 100 and 200% of the federal poverty level. And then, you know, how we're going to do it, the application, once you click in, is a clinical survey that is going to take some time to complete. So for those that are interested in completing the application, please know that we're collecting this data. You know, we're collecting information that will be used as part of the research. You'll need internet access. It's only available online. We're working with libraries and nonprofits to have computers available. I believe, and I'm not real sure, we can check on this, that you can, complete it on your phone. So it is something that you can access on your phone through internet. It can be filled out over time as long as your browser window is not closed. It's written at a 3rd grade reading level. And what it is also available in multiple languages. So we have it available in Spanish, Korean, Russian, Mandarin, Cantonese, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. And again, it's important just to keep your browser window open until receipt of notice that the response has been received. The survey is open now, as the mayor mentioned, and will remain open until Monday, August 16th, and at 11:59 p.m. You can also access the link by going to the United Way website at www.uwpc.org, and on our website, once you get there, we'll make sure there is a link that will lead you to the GRIT site on our website. We have partner organizations that are supporting the outreach and recruitment efforts, include the Asian Pacific Cultural Center, Multicultural Family Center, and Legally Black. So they will be working again to get all of this information out. So some of the next steps, once the applications are complete, we are also working with research partners at the University of Penn and the Center for Guaranteed Income Research, and they are going to support the random selection of the participants into 3 groups. And this is also very important. We here in Tacoma will not know who has applied. We will never see those applications. All of this information goes straight to the Center for Guaranteed Income Research. So the 3 groups, one group is of 110 people. Those are the folks that will get $500 per month for 12 months directly deposited into a personal account. This group is also going to be asked to complete surveys, and we'll be compensated for those surveys at $30 per survey, interviews, and allow access to administrative records to help us understand how this works, how the guaranteed income works. One group of 132 people will not get the monthly $500 stipend, but this will be our control group. This is the group that will complete surveys, the interviews, allow for access to administrative records to help us, again, understand how guaranteed income works. They will receive we paid $30 on a gift card for each survey that they complete. Then the 3rd group, this group of additional applicants will not get the monthly stipend. This group will allow access to administrative records to help us understand, again, how the guaranteed income works. So again, as far as timing, on Monday, August 16th at 11:59, the applications will close. The following week, random selections of participants will be conducted at the research, part of the research team. Notification to accepted applicants will go from the research team in late August. And then in early September, the GRIT team, which is our local team, is going to reach out to these participants who will be receiving funds and start an onboarding process. So we're going to take some time to onboard each participant. We'll also be talking, we'll have them speak with a benefits counselor as well. With the funds should be released by the end of October. So high level, I've gone into some detail, and I know that we have question and answers that I'll be able to, myself or other members of the team will be able to answer. So back to you, Mayor Woodards.
Thank you, Donna, for that more detailed explanation. And I do want to take this moment to also say thank you to our steering committee members, those who came together to get this work done. And that is United Way, the Greater Tacoma Community Foundation, City of Tacoma, Sound Outreach and Center for Strong Families, as well as the Tacoma Urban League and Tacoma Housing Authority. Those are our partners at this point in the work. And so I will just stop there and say we're really excited to be launching this in Tacoma today. What we know from Stockton's data so far is that the program was very successful. When you look at the success of the Stockton program, when you look at how people spent their $500 a month, majority of people spent it on basic necessities like rent and food. Some people use their money to help them upskill or create a new resume or take a day off a paid job to be able to go interview for a better job. And so the Stockton project has been very successful, and I have no doubt that Tacoma's project will be just as successful. And really the success doesn't come from our ability to talk about what people did with the money. The success comes from being able to lift Alice out of poverty. And so we will have benefit counselors that are working directly with those who apply and who are accepted to make sure that they are being able to maximize the dollars that they're receiving and that they won't lose any additional support that they get. I think Donna also mentioned that we are really targeting families. And so we really want to help those in our community who need it the most. The four zip codes that we chose, Hilltop, Eastside, and South End, was because we know that as we look at the equity index here in Tacoma, we know that those are the neighborhoods and the zip codes that need the most help, that are the most vulnerable. So that's why we chose those zip codes, but we will stand open for questions. Again, an exciting day in Tacoma. So grateful that last week, the City of Tacoma Council passed a resolution to accept the money and to enter into this partnership with United Way. And we're so excited to be moving this forward. And I will open the floor up now for any questions. I didn't see any in the chat at this time. So if you have a question, please be sure. Natasha, will you navigate the questions?
Yes, absolutely. If you have a question, please place your question in the chat and we will read it out. We did have some questions submitted prior to the conference. This first one is for Donna. Donna, what if someone needs help or does not have a computer or they can't get the application to work? Please unmute yourself.
I am so sorry. Oh, the great question. What I need, we can't help you. First of all, complete the survey. We do have community partners that are willing to provide some technical assistance. And you can also contact one of our GRIT team members at 253-597-6458. And I will put that in the chat as well. Tacoma Public Libraries also offer computer access to the community.
Thank you, Donna. This question is, how many applications are you expecting to receive?
And is that, let's see, you know what we're trying to do was trying to outreach to reach about 2,000 people, but we hope to get between 750 and 1,000 applications, just so that the research team has enough to do what they need to do to create the randomization of the applications.
Thank you, Donna. The next question is participation required if a person is not selected for the monthly payments, but is selected for group 2 or 3?
Yes, I mean, for the control group, yes, participation in terms of surveys. The control group will be asked to do some interviews and surveys, and they will be reimbursed with a $30 gift card for helping us out throughout this 12-month process.
Thank you, Donna. The next question is who provided—
I'm so sorry, before we hop into the next question, my name is Erin Coulter. I'm from the Center for Guaranteed Income Research, and I just wanted to answer that directly because participation is not required for anyone selected into either, into any of the groups. And that has to do with the idea that this cash is no strings attached, and that research at all levels is voluntary. So any individual can choose at any point to stop participating. Obviously, we hope to work with them to make sure that they do participate, but it is not required.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you for that, Erin.
The next question, who provided the initial funding for the project? What are your thoughts about funding a project like this in the future privately versus publicly?
So I'll answer the second part of that. Suki, do you want to take the first part about the national funding?
Sure. In terms of funding for sort of privately versus publicly nationally, across the network, there's some cities that are fully philanthropically funded, like Tacoma, and others that are running pilots with entirely public dollars. So we've seen a lot of cities use ARP dollars, and previously before that, CARES Act dollars. So for example, Richmond and St. Paul use CARES Act dollars, and the city of Los Angeles is using ARPA dollars. In terms of long-term, how to fund a guaranteed income, there's a couple different proposals out there in terms of funding. We've heard things like a value-added tax, which is what former presidential candidate Andrew Yang proposed. We've heard of a wealth tax. I think there's a couple different proposals, but Mayors for Guaranteed Income right now is dedicated to building the evidence base first.
So I just add to that. So, the initial funding came from Jack Dorsey. From Twitter. He was both the initial funder of the first $100,000, and then he was also the funder of the next pot of money that we got, which is allowing us to actually roll out this program. As it relates to how we're looking at it locally, we know that cities are already struggling. We're struggling with infrastructure. We're struggling with public safety, with social services, with affordable housing, with homeless. Like, we have a lot of priorities. So we really know that the success of this program really relies on us building local support for a national program, which is why you're seeing so many pilots happen across the country. But again, the goal is to show the success of these pilots and to really bring data to light that will show that a program like this could be successful nationally. And we're seeing some things like we saw some of the payments that came through COVID. We're seeing now the child tax credit. So programs like that are what we're talking about when we talk about Mayors for a Guaranteed Income.
And Mayor, this next question is directly for you. If you could address your vision for making this type of program permanent and funding.
Yeah, I would love to see, I mean, just again, what's happened in Stockton. We saw success. One of my favorite stories that Mayor Tubbs tells about Stockton was about a gentleman who said he got his resume, or he interviewed for a job. He used his money to interview for a new job, and Mayor Tubbs didn't quite understand. What did you pay all that money for, a resume? No, he was able to take a day off work. Because he worked a retail job, he was able to take a day off work to be able to interview for a better job, and he got that job. So I think the goal is that we'll be able to have more stories like this to really see this become a permanent program. I know in Tacoma, we're going to see those very same things. We know that most people don't have enough money to survive any emergency, whether that is a flat tire, you know, whatever those potential emergencies can be, whether that's getting behind on a light bill. But we know that families are struggling. We know that COVID has exacerbated those issues across the country. So my hope is that we'll make a good case throughout all of these cities who are doing pilot programs to the federal government to say it can work, it does make a difference, and to get the federal government to step up and do a federal guaranteed income program. I can't reiterate enough. Some cities are using ARPA dollars, which is great. We're looking at potentially doing a little bit of that, but again, cities are already struggling, and this is really an issue that the federal government needs to take up.
Thank you, Mayor. Erin, will you introduce yourself one more time, and then we have a few questions for you. What do you hope to learn from the survey?
Absolutely. Again, my name is Erin Coltrera. I'm with the Center for Guaranteed Income Research at UPenn. We are the independent research evaluation team that will be looking at GRIT as well as a number of the other MGI cities across the country. So in terms of what we hope to learn from the survey and from the pilot that Tacoma is launching, it's really a range of things. But one of the big issues is when it comes to guaranteed income is that we don't know really a lot about how guaranteed income works and for who it works best and in what ways it works best. So the things that we're looking to GRIT to learn more about include for asset limited, income constrained employed individuals, who are the population of focus here, right? What impact, if any, does guaranteed income have on things like physical functioning, mental health, right? Income volatility, spending, family dynamics and parenting, stress and coping, transportation. All of those things are built into the survey. And so that's why it's so important for us to ask questions, not only of the folks who are participating and receiving the money, but for folks who aren't. Because I think, you know, one of the issues that policymakers are facing right now is that we don't know a whole lot about how to build these policies. And our goal is to build a national database in conjunction with MGI and the Tacoma project that can start to answer some of those questions.
Thank you, Erin. And we had another one that was submitted prior. When will research data be available to the public?
Absolutely. So the way that we're collecting the data here is we're doing a series of surveys during the pilot, including one follow-up survey that's 6 months after the pilot ends to get an idea about whether or not some of these changes are sustained and in what way. And then we'll do a year's worth of analysis, sorting through all of the data, quantitative and qualitative. And we will be releasing a report to the city in, I believe, spring of 2024.
Thank you, Erin. Let's see, one more question. Donna, will you just address where people can go for more information prior to this conference?
Yes, so you can go to the United Way website for detailed FAQ, as well as links to the application. And again, that's www.uwpc.org and /growing-resilience-Tacoma. But again, just going to the UWPC website, you'll be able to get to that link.
Thank you. Do any of you have any concluding remarks? If not, this will conclude the question and answer session.
And sure. Again, I just like to say, I want to say thank you to Donna, thank you to Suki, and thank you to Erin for being a part of our team. As you all can see, being a part of this national network brings some expertise to it. And that's another reason why Tacoma decided to join, is because we weren't out on a limb by ourselves. And so being a part of the network with Suki and her team, and then being partners with UPenn, with Erin and her team who are going to do the research, is going to help shape the success of this program and our ability to really tell the story about why programs like this change lives and lift people out of poverty. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Natasha, thank you so much for moderating, to all the staff who helped put this together. Again, just grateful to be here, excited about this day in Tacoma, and excited to get grit off the ground and get these payments into the hands of Alice, so that we can really start to make a difference and change lives. So thank you everybody for joining us today.
Thank you. This concludes our press conference. We will make this recording available at uwpc.org, Growing Resilience Tacoma. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.